cultural contexts and demonstrated most of the principles highlighted in this volume, including others as experts, being critically conscious, understanding her students, crafting a culturally relevant curriculum, assessing, activating, and building on students' prior knowledge, releasing and sharing control with students and families, and demanding and expecting more. Later in this journey, I heard from mathematics educator Dr. Lee Stiff about how he designed an Algebra 1 course for students struggling in general math. Again, Stiff used the principles that are outlined in this volume. His attitude toward the work was, nothing we do can hurt these kids, because the quality of the general mathematics curriculum was so poor that mastering 1 or 2 Algebra 1 concepts was more valuable than a year's worth of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of whole numbers and fractions. This volume asks mathematics teachers to teach ambitious mathematics in cultural contexts that students understand and appreciate. It does not ask teachers to compromise the mathematics, but it also does not ask teachers to prioritize the mathematics above the students' interest and well-being. This work goes beyond Carol Dweck's notion of a growth mindset, or Angela Duckworth's concept of grit. Instead, Choosing to See places responsibility on teachers to learn much more about students as they approach teaching mathematics. Instead of assuming that mathematics is culture neutral, teachers must begin to interrogate how the mathematics curriculum fails to take into account students' backgrounds, cultural contexts, and experiences. Dr. Jamal Sharif Matthews of the University of Michigan conducted a National Science Foundation-sponsored project to look at the relationship between teachers' math applications to students' everyday experience and adolescent cognitive flexibility. This work indicates that when students can see how mathematics applies to the world they recognize and understand, they perform better in mathematics. Again, Dr. Matthews demonstrates that the principles being espoused here in Choosing to See are important for ensuring all students experience mathematics success. It is exciting to see mathematics educators move away from notions that only certain students will be proficient in mathematics to Robert Moses's idea of mathematics as a civil right. The world our students are entering is increasingly complex and mathematized. Students require more than a rudimentary knowledge of mathematics to have economic and social success in a highly technological, globally interconnected world. The demands of a complex democracy require students who can make sense of a scientific and technology-laden world. Choosing to See, a framework for equity in the math classroom, is the volume today's teachers will need to help students navigate that world. Gloria Ladson Billings, University of Wisconsin-Madison, September 2020. Preface. Why we've written this book. Pam's story. Growing up, being Black was just a part of who I was, like being a girl or having brown eyes. I never really thought about my race being a liability, but it never really gave me a sense of pride either. I was pretty neutral about it. However, that changed when I got to college. Even though Georgia Tech was where I was called the N-word by a white person for the first time in my life, it was also the place where I first felt such a sense of pride in being African American and the need to advocate for the success of African American students collectively in an institution where there were so few of us. I felt this pride when we elected our first Black homecoming queen and had our first Black cheerleader. That pride continued as we strategized how we would elect a record number of Black students to student council positions. I understood and experienced Black excellence and the power of working together to make a difference in our school, and I felt the same sense of pride in our collective efficacy. During my first years of teaching, I taught math in a high school that was pretty evenly divided between Black and white students.